and Elmer Bernstein. And he has worked a lot with Sidney Pollack in movies like 3 Days of the Condor. And Sidney Pollack said something about him that I'm going to use to bring Dave Grusin on stage. He said, he can do anything, and he's done everything. Dave Grusin.
Thank you so much. But no pressure. It's such a treat for me to be in this man's company talking about this particular subject, because I have floated in and out of this film world for a number of years. Good times and bad times, and we'll discuss some of that. I used to think, when I lived in this town, when I was still in school here, that I thought maybe I wanted to be a composer. And I knew about the devastatingly hard job it would be to go get commissions from symphony orchestras, of which there weren't all that many in this country, although there are far fewer now. And I had this vision that the film industry, the movie music business, was this vast frontier. It was hungry. You couldn't fill it up because they were continuing to make new films, and most of them needed some kind of music. So that's where my interest began in this area. Whether I was right about that or not, I'm not sure. It is a place to write a lot of music, and if it's fulfilling from a compositional standpoint, that varies from project to project. In those days, I had some heroes who were working. First of all, Andre Previn, who was not much older than I was. He had been at MGM Studios since he was 18 years old, and this is a genius. And he was doing all kinds of sort of cutting-edge music, not necessarily in terms of contemporary classical music, but in terms of film music, and that was very exciting to me. Another fellow who was quite older than I, who just passed away, was David Raksin. And you'll remember the beautiful score to Laura that he wrote. It was just, he was such a master of orchestration and beautiful melody and emotional things. Of course, the movies changed, so that kind of music doesn't always work in more contemporary arenas. Like Speed 2, for instance, Raksin's score probably would be replaced. We've all had scores replaced. I remember one of my most gratifying days was sitting in an agent's office talking about something, and he got an emergency call from somebody that said, Carlo Ponti wants to replace Hank Mancini's score for whatever it was. And I was elated, because if it could happen to Hank, you know, I didn't feel so bad that it could happen to the rest of us.